Let's bring in, talk more about that, Matt Belloni, founding partner at Puck. And I was talking about this earlier, Matt. Thanks for joining us on quick notice. We got a lot of questions, obviously, but here's the quote that I had when the letter Paramount basically sent it to Zaslav, saying, look, you have abandoned the semblance and reality of a fair transaction process. Now it's done, and I mean, does that mean, are they coming back?
Weird, you know what's going on.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we had a little one over here.
Because they basically laid the groundwork there to claim that this was an unfair process. So maybe they'll sue, maybe they'll go directly to the shareholders, say that this is not the best deal. We could have offered you something better. We were cleaner. We were going to take out the entire company. Now you've got to go through with this entire split. And much more uncertain than what they were offering, they would argue. But they have not said what they're going to do yet. That's the big mystery today.
Because I don't want to say it's arrogance, but it's almost like they wanted everyone to just believe that they got the administration on their side. So they almost were, it was almost like a sense of entitlement that, look, you need to talk to us at 24, even if other people at 30, because they're not, we can tell you, you know, wink and a nod. We can tell you it's not going to happen for you with our, you know, with our connections with the administration.
I mean, that was certainly the messaging that was going out. I mean, they basically said that we don't believe the others can close. And they may be right about that. I mean, this is going to be a very difficult regulatory process.
You're excited. I can see it. For the next year and a half, you're like, ka-ching, you can't wait to watch this play out, right? We are kind of too. It's unbelievable.
It will be, especially when you inject the whole Trump of it all. I mean, I would not be surprised if the president weighed in today on this transaction. I mean, other Republicans have already been making noises about it. We saw Mike Lee, the antitrust committee member, has already been saying he's going to look closely at this transaction. So there is messaging going on within the Republican Party about this transaction, and we'll see now if they act upon it.
Do you know how much the president would like Barry Weiss to be, overseeing CNN? I mean, I would almost like to see that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly had a preference here, and we'll see what Trump's willing to do. He may just say, you know what, I tried, we're walking away from this, or the DOJ might come after this.
So, Matt, is there any chance in a million years somehow Paramount comes back and does something that we aren't thinking about right now?
Well, I mean, they first of all, they can go to the shareholders, or we don't know what the termination fee is, but they could go just say, we're going to pay whatever it is and offer way more money. I mean, we know
we do. $5.8 billion is the termination fee.
Oh, we do. It's $5.8 billion.
There's a reverse breakup fee of 5.8. I don't know if it specifically in the terms talk about that in the context of somebody else coming in or really just the regulators blocking it. But right now, 5.8 is the figure that's been put out there.
That's pretty big. But, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a Hollywood movie studio. And if the Ellisons' entire game plan is to own Warner Brothers and Paramount and maybe a piece of TikTok, and that's the plan, maybe it's worth paying that kind of fee to come in over the top.
What about Comcast?
It's interesting. Comcast, I have not heard that much about what their offer was. There was a whole scenario, sort of a conspiracy that people were talking about how the real plan was for Netflix to buy Warner and then sell HBO to Comcast. And I have been told by sources that that is not the plan. So I don't know what Comcast, what the role was here.
By the way, on Comcast, I keep thinking potentially that now you might see them trying to make a move, maybe with a Paramount. I don't know what you do about the CBS, NBC of it all, or maybe go, as we talked with Greenfield, go to Sony, go to somebody else. But it seems like if you're not going to try to fight this, in City Hall, effectively, if you're not going to try to fight the Netflix deal, you might put up one or two other deals against it at the same time, and then they all sail through at the same time.
Maybe, although I think it would be tough to have CBS and NBC together there. And plus, I don't know that the Ellisons want partners on this. I mean, they seem to want to kind of go it alone, and they have the wherewithal to do it. I think if Comcast had a partner, it would be some kind of a big money partner, but maybe they'd go in with someone like Sony or something. I mean, you could see all kinds of scenarios here, sort of a free fall. It's like an episode of Succession.
I mean, the media is not a zero-sum game, but we know what happened to Sherry Redstone. We know that Zaslav was looking at $7.50 a share at one point, and now he's getting 30. Comcast was a $65 stock. It's now at 27. I don't know what happened. Did it all flow into Netflix? And if so, if so, why do they want any of this stuff when all it's done is just drag down the valuation of everyone that's touched any of these legacy assets?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Netflix is buying Warner's for the stock value. They've got that. They're the growth stock. What they need is to grow subscribers and to grow the overall audience. And they see the intellectual property and the library that Warner's offers as being pretty important. They know.
At this point, given everything, Zaslav is popping champagne corks, and so are our shareholders. Are they not at Warner Brothers, even though Warner Brothers Discovery, even though it's been a tough couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if popping champagne is the thing. I mean, Zaslav, for sure. I mean, he's going to get paid. He's going to get whatever he wants. But, this is the fourth transaction that this company has gone through in the past decade. And every time they do it, they cut jobs. Right. People lose. It's been very disruptive.
That doesn't even include Jerry. I mean, go back even further, and it's like, what? And that was what I said earlier. Too bad Netflix just. I mean, Discovery is like a middleman. Too bad Netflix just didn't do this.
A long time ago.
Yeah, with AT&T, if they were going to do it, but it would have cost more probably back then.
I have a different.
Hopefully, in 20 years, we're not talking about this like we do AOL Time Warner.
Well, and then sometime we got to talk about. I mean, not just us, but I mean, we got Versant's got all these things, and now we got all the stub of Warner Brothers. What happens to all? I think these are all really valuable little things. Who rolls all of those things up? Are they valuable?
Well, Versant says they're not really interested in adding more TV networks. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they're saying. They say they're happy with it. We're not talking about what's going to happen to these Warner TV networks, but this is going to be, if they go through this split, a separate company, and they're going to have a strategy and want to buy stuff and manage it. We'll see.
Matt, what does the Hollywood creative community think about this and how they think about the permutations of these deals? I remember we talked a couple months ago about how you thought actually Hollywood was quite excited about what Paramount was doing because they were spending a lot of money on programming, and it seemed like they were going to come in and do a lot of interesting things. Do you think the industry is going to look at this and say, this is great, they're going to revolt, they're going to think that this is going to lower the number of new productions, it's going to change the economics of these deals in different ways that make it less attractive, more attractive? How do you see it?
No, the industry is not excited about this. I mean, my DMs and texts blew up last night with some pretty dour messages because anytime you take out a buyer in the entertainment ecosystem, it results in fewer opportunities. Now, Netflix would argue that they're going to be stronger and they're going to grow more and they're going to have more opportunities for talent to work on bigger and better projects. But the history of the business has shown that when you take out a buyer, you reduce opportunities. And then it just comes down to kind of a pride thing. I mean, Warner Brothers was one of the original Hollywood studios. It has a 100-year legacy, everything from Casablanca to Dirty Harry. It is ingrained in the Hollywood system. And now you have this interloper that has come in from Silicon Valley, and within 20 years, it has completely transformed the business. And now it's buying one of the preeminent Hollywood establishment studios. But so there's a weird pride
What
thing.
Key demos and what young people are, oh my God, I can't wait to watch Casablanca. This is a good point. Why is Netflix paying for legacy stuff when they really need to try to compete with YouTube on user-generated? How does this help them compete against user-generated content and where all these young people aren't watching any of this stuff anymore.
That's true, but they are watching Ted Lasso, and they're watching, some of the newer stuff that Warner is doing. They're doing television and film, and they're making it with the IP that they have generated for 100 years. So there's real value there. And Netflix sees the data. You forget this. There are Warner Brothers movies that play on Netflix right now via licensing agreements, and they see what kind of engagement those movies deliver. And the big IP-driven blockbuster movies are almost always in the top 10 on Netflix. People go to these services and they watch these movies. It was true of cable television, and it's true of streaming. The majority of the viewership comes from these library titles. And if Netflix can own that and not have to license it from all these other companies, that's the missing piece. They have volume, they don't have premium, they don't have library. That's what this gives them.